Well, we're back on track here and happy to be back. Sorry I missed you. About 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, we missed you too, Maharaj.
We've got Jagadishwar from Cleveland. Haribol.
Haribol.
Haribol. Been a long time. We're going to come down to Cleveland to see you sometime soon. Okay, so I guess we'll get started. Do you want to give me Bhagavat Gita there? Okay, it's 5 o'clock. When should we start?
We can start. We can start now, Maharaj.
Let's begin then. Nama Om Vishnuvadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutare Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminita Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadesh Tarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm getting hit by jet lag right now. Forgive me. It can come anytime. Ananta Shesh, it's so good to see you. I missed you the last time.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, welcome back.
All right, let's go for our invocational mantra. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitan Yena Tatsmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance. And my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Jai, okay. So I'm curious to know where we are at.
14.14, Maharaj.
14.14. Oh my God. We're moving right along. Okay. We're still dealing with the 3 modes of material nature. We've got to get out of them. Yada sattve pravriddhetu pralayam yati deha vrit todatama vidang lokan avalan pratipadyate. Translation. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages. So, purport then? Someone could read for us?
Uday, can you go now?
Yes, Hare Krishna. One in goodness attains higher planetary systems like Brahmaloka or Janaloka, and there enjoys godly happiness. The word Amlan is significant. It means free from modes of passion and ignorance. There are impurities in the material world, but the mode of goodness is the purest form of existence in the material world. There are different kinds of planets for different kinds of living entities. Those who die in the mode of goodness are elevated to the planets where great sages and great devotees live.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, so just peering out that word Amalam, Amalam Puranam. It's stated in the Bhagavatam. Right in the beginning. Simply to make the point that we're not talking about any materially motivated religion when we're speaking about the Bhagavatam. Dharma projita kaitavotra paramotsiranam satam. That's in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, where it is stated that anything to do with Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, it's not even a consideration. It's because most of those levels of what people endeavor for in the human form of life have very little to do with spiritual advancement. Therefore, the Bhagavatam is called Amalam Puranam. And here it's translated as being free of the modes of passion and ignorance. So there's no impurities there. And this is why we hold the mode of goodness in such good regard, because it is not tainted with karma kand, jnana kand. It's not disturbed. And so the mode of goodness, although it might not be, there might be some hint of, let's say, motivation, but it's very close to transcendence. You're not going to find anything better. Out of the three gunas, this is the way to go, folks. That's the way to go, mode of goodness. Good. Any questions about that? Otherwise, I think we can move on to passion. All right.
Oh, sorry, I have a question, Maharaj.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, the three modes, and then of course, Prabhupada always says, but more importantly is to move beyond that and be in transcendence.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel like transcendence is like its own mode, even though it transcends the word mode. I just kind of wanted to throw that out there and get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. It is in its own category, and it's hard to achieve. We have to keep that in mind. When we're in the modes, the world of modes, we're in the world of moods. We're very affected by these three energies. And in the teachings of the Nectar of Devotion, we're looking at, following the rules and regulations of bhakti. That's called Vaidhi Bhakti or Vidhi Bhakti. It means that you're following some rules and regulations, being regulated, being somewhat, disciplined with yourself, and going about your devotional ways, which has its pleasantries, sometimes not so much, because we're in the modes, right? So where we want to go to, however, is to transcend, and that will come. The crossing the line is when we get to what's called Raganuga Bhakti. And that is a unique place to be, because there you do everything just spontaneously. You're just in love with bhakti. There is no other consideration. You just don't get hit by those lower modes. So there's a big line to cross, you can say, but we would like to add that the mode of goodness is getting really close to it. It's really like a next door neighbor. But it's called Vishuddha Sattva Guna. So it is considered a mode, but beyond all, and therefore it's transcendence. You're not going to find too many people get hit that. I mean, it's not so common to get to the transcendental level, the Amalam. So when you do meet somebody like that, it's really, really special. And it's where we need to go eventually. And we almost can't do it by ourselves. We certainly need the help of Krishna, who says that I carry what they have and I preserve what they have and I'll carry what we lack. So we do need to depend on him, but not so much to the point where it's full dependence. You have to do your work, you know. Is that okay?
It's beautiful, Maharaj. Thank you.
You're very kind. Okay, great. So let us then, anybody else have any point they want to raise on this mode of goodness?
Yes, Maharaj, following up on that one, on the Vishuddha Sattva level, can one be in that level while they're in the material world?
Yes, yes. In the Bhagavatam, we have a nice verse. Ihayasya dasye karmana manasagira nakilasvapyavastasu jivan mukta suuchite. So a jiva that has reached moksha or mukti is one who lives in this world, but is not of this world. A person who's like a lotus flower. And it's just like a superhuman being. You know, they're rare to find, but they are there. But yes, I can say clearly Prabhupada was one of those people. He just didn't have those kind of material motives. And he just pushed his way through, especially if you read the book by Hari Sari, the last few weeks, I think it's 6 weeks that Prabhupada was on the planet. Hari Sari was with him. He recorded everything, put it in there in the form of a book. And you could see Prabhupada's mood, even though he was physically gone. His spirit was, he was just thinking about people. He was just thinking about how people can come up. Oh, yeah. He was thinking about how people could rise up and evolve. And he was thinking about numbers. Okay, books. He was so much into numbers. How many books? How many temples are? What's going on in this place, that place? You know, he wasn't thinking about himself, his own health so much. It was just all about how the world can expand. Just give me 1 second. Could you take one of the red towels? Because they're the ones that were used yesterday. If all of them get oily, and then I dry myself, I get breakout. Okay. Is that okay, Prabhu? Ananta Sheshwaru?
Yes, Maharaj, thank you.
All right. So work on it, okay?
Yes, of course.
We all need to work on it.
But you have to promise that you won't travel this long anymore.
I won't travel this long.
Yeah, you won't be out of town this long for us to work on this, you know.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, I can help to some extent, but you Bruce also have to do your job, your work.
Because we have a danger of regressing.
Well, you know, all you have to do is, you know, take those japa beads, you know, and put in your shoes and go for a good walk every day, get some fresh air and feel the presence of Krishna. And you'll be okay. And stay in good company. All right. Let's move along to 14.15. Okay, and would you like to assign somebody, Vaishnavi? Just someone who could do this for us. The verse in Sanskrit, the translation, and then someone else can read the purport.
Yeah. Nitai Priya, can you read? Arjuna?
Sure, yes, I can read.
Okay, and
It's been a long time since we've heard Nitai Priya do something in Sanskrit.
Oh, it's the Sanskrit. Oh.
Yeah.
well, you can choose the other two.
I'll try it. I might as well. I'm good when I'm by myself.
All
but
about. You got to keep going. You got to keep plugging away. Don't give up.
I'm fine at it by myself, but I just get stage fright in front of devotees. Okay, so Rajasi.
I'm not a devotee, right?
Oh!
So you can't hear it. Count me up. Other people here maybe, but I'm not. So go ahead.
Maharaj, please, please. Rajasi pralayang gatva karma sangishu jayate tata pralinas tamasi mudha yonishu jayate.
Jai. That
Yay!
was
Haribol.
Jai. Was Haribol. Not bad. Good, good.
That's good. Nice.
Give us a translation, please.
Oh, sorry. Okay. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. Oy.
Yeah, right. A cat or something like that.
If they're lucky, they'll be my cat.
Okay. All right. So who's the next?
Okay, I'm ready, Maharaj. I'm ready. Okay,
Jai. Let's go.
Jai, Hare Krishna. Purpose. So some people have the impression that when the soul reaches the platform of human life, it never goes down again. This is incorrect. According to this verse, if one develops the mode of ignorance after his death, he is degraded to an animal form of life. From there, one has to again elevate himself by an evolutionary process to come again to the human form of life. Therefore, those who are actually serious about human life should take the mode of goodness and, in good association, transcend the modes and become situated in Krishna consciousness. This is the aim of human life. Otherwise, there is no guarantee that the human being will again attain the human status.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you so much, Arjuna. So it's really good material. We're thinking that through the process of evolution, not Darwin's method, not his, let's say, speculations, but according to Vedic evolution, when you get to the human form of life, there's not a guarantee that you'll get moksha in the next life. There's just not a guarantee. In fact, you might have to come back as a human again and again and again. Or you can always slide down. It's very pivotal when you're a human being. So it is possible to take the form of an animal, and animals are wonderful creatures. I'd stay away from predators, like the Komodo, whatever, dragon or something like that. Oh, they're terrifying to me, But, the message here is don't slide down. Take those ladders, don't take the snakes.
You're muted, Maharaj.
Okay, sorry, somebody was trying to call me. So we, there's just lots of options there. That's what we have to consider when it comes to the transmigration of the soul. So try not to slide. And, when one falls from the spiritual world, it's not such a great fall down. One may take birth as a demigod in a heavenly planet. And after that, then one slips down into the lowest forms. Okay, so that's one scenario. The scenario that is discussed here. So you're a human being, okay, guaranteed. That's what most people think. Oh, as a human being is going to heaven now. What's the guarantee? Who knows? What do you have some inside scoop in people's lives? How could you possibly know? The Garuda Purana is full of information about if you commit this wrong, then you'll take birth in this kind of body and so on like that, or you commit another offense, this could happen. But then it gets so complex because we do many good things and we do many bad things, right? So all gets mixed up. One thing may cancel out another one because you're doing good work. Negative karma may be wiped out. But then you may have done some other things in the mix, and it all gets tallied up in the end. So I guess we should not get too overly optimistic about this. Just because you're a human being, you're going to be guaranteed to go back to Godhead. No, I can think of a lot of people who are in the lower modes. Why don't you, Bruce, think about somebody who was just a tyrannical, like Ivan the Terrible, or Hitler the Hitman. You think about somebody terrible who is responsible for the loss of lives of so many people. Do you think those individuals are going to be guaranteed a human life? No guarantee. A lot of offenses committed. That's why the role that a devotee plays and inserting himself or herself into this material world is a critical situation. It can take, if you meet, 1 minute's association with a great soul can turn everything around for somebody who's very debauched or sinful. So let us try to become great devotees of the Lord so that we can have an angle. We can have an approach in people's lives where everything can be, a difference can be made. It looks like, their destiny was really bad, really going into a dark place. But by being with a devotee who cares, who's concerned, has compassion, who works with his heart, everything can change. Everything can change. And Prabhupada talks about clapping. When you clap in front of the deities during kirtan like this, he said once, the lines on your hands can change. That means that, okay, I got my lifeline here, but if I clap my hands, that line might change. It might be, apparently I have a long life. But, oh my God, what is that? Okay. So expect some magical things to happen when you perform devotional service or when you're in the association of a devotee. Everyone, please take a minute, meditate on this. If I didn't meet with the devotees, where would I be at? Where would I be at?
Horrible situation.
Could you say that again, Vaishnavi?
Horrible situation.
Yes. Yes, horrible. Yeah. Okay, so let's move along to 16, shall we?
Maharaj, I have a quick question.
Are you sure it's quick?
Yes. Is it true that if one chants the Mahamantra, he's guaranteed a human birth and he's not going to regress?
Well, that kind of a question can be answered like this. The intricacies of karma are complex, hard to understand. You could chant Hare Krishna, but if you chant with a lot of offenses, that can cancel out the possibilities of going back to Godhead. So you have to be careful how you chant, not just the fact that you chant, but how do you chant? But Krishna is quite merciful in this regards, because the character Ajamil, he was not thinking so purely when he chanted the name of Narayan, his youngest son, but because he chanted, and even though there might be some flaw in it, he got the protection he needed. So I want to say on the safe side that if you're chanting Hare Krishna, you're a lot better off than many people. But what if you chant Hare Krishna and you're offensive? Because I know some people, they chant. And, there's this one person we know, he chants. And He promotes Hitler. So, I'm not sure what else is going on in the person's life, but, things are a little bit messed up inside. I saw a message, but I lost it there. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj.
All right. Okay, so, but chanting Hare Krishna is the safest thing. It's the Yuga Dharma. It's Krishna in the sound, the form of sound. Namrup. So you're definitely better off than any other scenario. But act like a devotee too. Don't just say Hare Krishna, and just terrorize the whole world because of your behavior is so aggressive and so violent and volatile. Act like one. Act like a Hare Krishna. You can chant Hare Krishna, but act like a pure one. That's very necessary. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes. Haripaji. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Do you have any questions?
Maharaj.
Yeah.
So is that like when we contemplate our own bad behavior,
Bluetooth connected.
And you say so act like a pure
Fully
devotee.
charged.
That does not is it kind of like a fake it till you make it kind of situation?
Yeah, all you have to do is apply sincerity. It's just a simple thing. Try. That's all. Don't give up. And it's going to gel. It'll get there. Krishna's message to Arjuna: don't give up, Arjuna. Keep at it. Arjuna was saying, I can't do this thing, this whole dhyana yoga thing, or I just can't do this, sitting like still. He's a man of action. You're asking me to sit still? And he said, I can't do it. But Krishna said, persist. Continue on in the spirit of detachment. So there is hope in all of this. Don't be discouraged if you're making some mistakes. The fact that you're trying is an incredible bonus. So keep trying. That's what a Vaishnava is. A Vaishnava is one who is not a quitter. There's so much mercy coming your way. So count the mercy drops, not all the negative things. Count thine blessings. All right. Good questions, though. Are you happy?
I'm the happiest, Maharaj. Thank you for being all the drops of mercy that I count. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you. Shall we move on then, folks? To the next and perhaps the last. It's got a
Yes.
healthy purport. Okay. Do we have a lineup of people who can read then? Vaishnavi, do you
Yes,
want to take charge of this, please?
Yeah. Haripad, you didn't read before, so you can read now.
Sure, Mataji.
And
If you can share.
Rasraj and Vasanta also jump in when it is needed. So
I've also got two
Yeah.
people in the room here. I've got two people here in the room.
Bhagavat Gita 14.16. Karmana sukrastas yahu Satvikam nirmalam phalam. Rajasastu phalam dukham. Ajnanam tamasa phalam. Translation. The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness.
Very good. Thank you.
Hare Krishna
Report.
Maharaj.
Okay.
The
Have we got
result
a
of
lineup of, I'm sorry, do we have a lineup of people? So there's no interruptions?
That's what I'm just reading.
I'll read. Hare Krishna, Vasanta. Raj. The
Okay.
result of pious activities in the mode of goodness is pure. Therefore, the sages who are free from all illusion are situated in happiness, but activities in the mode of passion are simply miserable. Any activity for material happiness is bound to be defeated. If, for example, one wants to have a skyscraper, so much human misery has to be undergone before a big skyscraper can be built. The financier has to take much trouble to earn a mass of wealth, and those who are slaving to construct the building have to render physical toil. The miseries are there. Thus, Bhagavad Gita says that in any activity performed under the spell of mode of passion, there is definitely great misery. There may be a little so-called mental happiness. I have this house or this money, but this is not actual happiness. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Hare Krishna. As far as the mode of ignorance is concerned, the performer is without knowledge, and therefore all his activities result in present misery, and afterwards he will go on toward animal life. Animal life is always miserable, although under the spell of illusory energy, Maya, the animals do not understand this. Slaughtering poor animals is also due to the mode of ignorance. The animal killers do not know that in the future the animal will have a body suitable to kill them. This is law of nature. In human society, if one kills a man, he has to be hanged. This is law of the state. Because of ignorance, people do not perceive that there is a complete state controlled by the Supreme Lord.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Next.
Every living creature is a son of Supreme Lord, and he does not tolerate even an ant's being killed. One has to pay for it. So indulgence in animal killing for the taste of the tongue is the grossest kind of ignorance. A human being has no need to kill animals because God has supplied so many nice things. If one indulges in meat eating anyway, it is to be understood that he is acting in ignorance and is making his future very dark. Of all kinds of animal killing, the killing of cows is the most vicious because the cow gives us all kinds of pleasure by supplying milk. Cow slaughter is an act of the grossest type of ignorance. In the Vedic literature, Rig Veda, the words Gobihi Prinita Matsaram indicate that one who, being fully satisfied by milk, is desirous of killing the cow is in the grossest ignorance. There is also a prayer in Vedic literature that states,
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Uday, go.
Okay. There is also a prayer in the Vedic literature that states, Namo Brahmanaya Devaye Go Brahmana Hite Cha Jagadhite Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namah. My Lord, you are the well-wisher of the cows and the Brahmanas, and you are the well-wisher of the entire human society and the world. Vishnu Purana. The purport is that special mention is given in that prayer for the protection of the cows and the Brahmanas. Brahmanas are the symbol of spiritual education, and cows are the symbol of the most valuable food. These two living creatures, the Brahmanas and the cows, must be given all protection. That is real advancement of civilization. In modern human society, spiritual knowledge is neglected and cow killing is encouraged. It is to be understood, then, that human society is advancing in the wrong direction and is clearing the path to its own condemnation. A civilization which guides the citizen to become animals in their next lives is certainly not a human civilization. The present human civilization is, of course, grossly misled by the modes of passion and ignorance. It is a very dangerous age, and all nations should take care to provide the easiest process, Krishna consciousness, to save the humanity from the greatest danger.
Mm, yeah, thank you. I like that last line there. All nations should take care to provide the easiest process, Krishna consciousness. Yeah. We're not, Prabhupada thinks big, right? He's saying, let's get involved. Let's get everybody on the same page here. Let's move together. So I like that. Very illuminating purport about the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. It's all sort of wrapped up in one verse here. So again, it seems to be that we are having a choice. The mode of goodness is the best way to be. I think everybody in their heart, they don't want to lie. They don't want to cheat. They want to do the right. They don't want to, I mean, let's put it this way. Everybody wants to progress positively in Krishna consciousness. And if people don't know about Krishna, there's something intuitively in most of us that I don't want to do wrong, Let's say there's chronic criminals, and they're constantly making mistakes, they're trying to see what they can get away with. But a lot of people in that category, I believe, they just think they get a buzz out of, let's say, double crossing other people, saying, I'm going to see what I can get away with. Cheap thrills. But, pretty much all of those kind of individuals, they get caught. And eventually they know they'll get caught. So because intuitively people believe in karma. I'm going to but I'll see what I can get away with in the meantime. I'll just see how much money I can make, how much money I can steal. I'll see what I can covet. Land, I'll see how many people I can kill, And it'll all catch up to me somewhere. But in the meantime, I'm having fun, getting into trouble. It gives me a buzz. So this is really mode of ignorance and passion. It's really sad that we have people on the planet who think along those lines. Another thing I want to say about mode of ignorance, foolishness. There's a lot of people, they speak loud, they're boisterous, they laugh. Like just they're in the bar, they had a few drinks, and they're not in the bar. And they just feel like, I remember at the LA airport the last time I was there on my way to Hawaii, there was just so much of that going on. I'm looking around everywhere, sitting in the middle of this room, waiting for the gates for them to call for your gate. This is madness, the boisterousness, people cackling like a bunch of witches. And I wonder what I just like, I'm in hell here, and they're weird. Everyone's just crazy. Don't we have sanity? So ignorance brings this kind of foolishness. And when you talk to people who are very intoxicated, oh my God, it's hard to understand them They have a hard time walking, talking. I mean, just, who wants to be there? Wants to be. So it's foolish, but they don't see it. They just don't see it. I was just normal. Laughing all the time. Is that normal? I don't think so. You have to have some sobriety in you throughout the day. We don't mind laughing. Prabhupada was like a laughologist, and he would just encourage jokes sometimes, He was okay for breaks. If something was going a little bit dull, whether it was in meetings or anything like that, or discussion with devotees, he'd say something nice about Krishna, or he would crack a joke. Gopal Ban, I guess he was popular on the eastern part of India. He was like a court jester. And Prabhupada always brought jokes up about, about this jester. So, but continually, like some people are, you have to say, it's a mode of ignorance, foolishness. So, Prabhu, when you go through these, study these gunas, you have to ask yourself, which action am I taking? Is it pious action? Is it passionate action? Or is it ignorance? Just which way do you want? What end result do you want to get in the end? How do you want things to tally in the end of your life? That is totally dependent on how you behave now. And let's not be foolish like the people, I'll see what I can get away with. And there are people like that. And they get caught, they put them in the bars, behind bars. Oh, well, at least I had a good time while I was at it. Okay, Bruce, anything more on this?
One comment, that's exactly that last statement you made was exactly the thought of most of the people on the planet now, because they think there's only one life to live, and let me enjoy.
Yes, good point. One life to live, that's right. That is such a shallow perception on life itself. There's many lives. I'll share with you something. On the plane coming back from Paris to Detroit, I saw a documentary called The Beatles and India. And it was nicely done. It was, sort of highlighted things that the Beatles kind of made Indian music popular. And of course, all these pundits have to be credited because people like the Beatles, they got trained, especially George Harrison. So they spoke eloquently. The whole thing was very interesting. They talked about Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, all that, because they're trying to cover the broad topic, the Beatles and India. What was it all about? There was a period in their career where they really got interested in Eastern mysticism. What's so nice about the documentary, they quote George Harrison at the end. He said, well, we're all just spirits moving about in different bodies, with all these bodies. It was such a nice ending. That is wisdom. That is what's going to get us to Sattva Gun. And you act on it. Vishuddha Sattva. Pure goodness will come when you apply yourself with this wisdom in mind. I'm not this body. I am part of Brahman. I'm a part and parcel of Brahman. I'm part of Krishna. I'm not Krishna. I'm just part of him. All right. Any other thoughts that come to your minds for Bruce?
One more question.
Maharaj, I have a comment.
Yes, Arjun, go ahead.
So I have a friend of my wife came the other day to my home, and I was literally just cooking some like rice and dal and some eggplant sabji, and I said, "Do you want to eat?" And she said, "No, I don't want to eat." That's how you say. And she said, "Oh, it's Good Sunday or something. we don't eat meat. And I said, oh yeah, I haven't eaten meat like over 8 years. And she just kept looking like surprised. So I said, eat. And she said, oh, it doesn't matter. I ate meat today. And I said, if it doesn't matter, then you should eat excrement then. I told her that.
Right. Yeah, you have to look at it. You know, I think I told you the story of the Dalai Lama, who's given a choice. Just one second. Don't do it too hard. That's why the red dots are there. Somebody worked me too hard. Yeah. Okay, but again, don't go too hard. I'm sorry, where were we?
Dalai Lama.
Yeah, he was given a choice. He was on one of these airlines because my godbrother Bhavananda was sitting next to him. And they asked him, would you like veg or non-veg? He said non-veg. And then Bhavananda asked him, well, tell me in your tradition, what do you do? I mean, are you vegetarian? He said, well, in our tradition, we just do whatever is offered to us. We consume what out of etiquette, the protocol is we consume, we accept food which is being presented to us. And then Bhavananda said, yeah, but you had a choice here. In other words, you had a sattvic food as opposed to food of ignorance. So I asked Bhavananda, so how did he respond? After that, he just went quiet. He just didn't say anything. Yeah. So we have to be a little discerning and look at our food quality. Now, some people say they're vegetarian, but they cook all the life prana out of it. And so it's not that sattvic anymore, almost not offerable to Krishna, right? So make sure Krishna gets flavorful, healthy, nutritious foods. The less chemicals in it, the better. But you know, you can't always get it perfect. Even Prabhupada said, what are we doing? What can we do? It is Kali Yuga. One devotee said, Prabhupada, I'm distributing books, but some people are throwing them in the garbage. And Prabhupada said, what can we do? They're throwing their babies in the garbage. Talking about the fetuses. Hare Krishna. Kali Yuga ki jai. Okay. Anything, any other points?
Maharaj, one more question.
Okay.
One has to go through the mode of goodness before they transcend the modes?
That's usually the trend. Yeah. Like we see it in the trend of the devotees when they come to the movement. If you're not born into the culture, but we find that people read, they read autobiography of a yogi before they come, or they're vegetarian before they get serious, you know. Yeah, so that's all mode of goodness stuff that will, you know, boost your ability to get at Krishna's lotus feet. Yeah. So there's some prerequisites, you know. I mean, your question is, can you hop from mode of ignorance to the mode of sattva gun? Do you think it's possible? Answer, yes, by the mercy of the devotees. But that's a little hard to come by. I mean to say it doesn't happen. Some Jagai and Madai, their story, it's quite unique, quite unique. The Lord was merciful, and that makes the difference. I think sometimes what this word mercy means, what is prashad, the benefit that comes from being with devotees, each other. Okay, anything else, Prabhus?
Haripad has his hands up.
Okay, Haripad, he's doing his head rolls.
Yeah, Maharaj, it's so nice to hear from you after a long time. I just want, and you know, I'm so happy to see you also on the Zoom video. So I actually also have two questions or regarding your itinerary here in New Jersey and Cleveland. So can I just, I can email it to you. I actually already have sent you an email. Is that,
Sure.
you
Yeah, I'm
please?
just trying to get caught up.
Yes, please, Maharaj.
Yes. Okay.
And
Anything
I
else?
have actually one question regarding this class.
Okay.
I'm seeing in the trend that the population of Europe and the population of all supposedly advanced countries is decreasing, or it's stable, or actually decreasing. And I think the population of poor countries where people are materially very poor, like India, Africa, is actually increasing. And I think,
Prabhu,
can you?
Somebody was trying to call me, so I missed the last sentence.
So I was saying the population of materially advanced countries is actually decreasing, and the population of materially poor countries is actually increasing. And why is this, Maharaj?
Well, when you have the birth rate going down, like the way it is now, I don't think it's not a very healthy sign. Like for a lot of cultures, that seems to be the case. Even in Cuba, where I go, they've got some major problems. People are just not having babies like they used to. So it's difficult. It's difficult. Signs of Kali Yuga. Children born into poverty. Yeah. What does that mean? It doesn't look good. Increase of poverty. And I don't know what you want to say about, say, the European countries, but I mean, a lot of people bring in outsiders just to keep the whole system going, right? Otherwise, you can't take care of your seniors. That's a big motivation. Oh, we got to take care of our elders. We promised them, So bring in new folks. What do you think the world is going to look like if you don't have wonderful children around? Babies. We give so much life to people. What does it mean? I mean, Krishna created children for a reason, right? It makes parents happy, makes grandchildren happy.
Right.
Grandparents, I mean to say.
I think it's people don't have time for anybody or anything except themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Western society, even myself also including, have become. I think.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of lonely people on the planet. Anybody else want to comment on Haripad's concern?
Can I say something, Maharaj?
Yeah.
Probably think I'm talking too much in this class today, but I think they're not teaching people these days any values or anything. It's just money, 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 and if you have money, you're gonna be happy.
Fun. Just have fun tonight.
Hare Krishna.
Let's get it on, baby. Yeah.
Maybe because in advanced countries, population of people is going down, but population of animals may be going up. So maybe, this is what Gita is telling us, that you behave like animal running after money, you become an animal. So we have to see what the population of animal is.
But
yeah,
that is not. That's not the trend. That trend is not there only in Western society. India is about the same.
Right, India too. Population is actually going down.
I mean, it's about taking care of the elders is not there.
Yeah.
So when Haripad said everybody is only for themselves, and then he added the Western civilization. That is not India is the same thing.
Yeah, but India is becoming materialistic like anywhere else.
Exactly.
There's a Kali
It's
Yuga
become
trend.
quite materialistic.
It's not Eastern, it's not Western anymore. It's just decadence. Decadence.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Sandamani Devidasi. Maharaj, one thing I've noticed is also people are so stressed out these days. So that is one reason why they're unable to have kids. Like I see at least 2 or 3 of my colleagues or friends who have not had kids because they've gone through so much stress and so much in their lives that their body automatically not able to, sustain that. So I feel that is one of the reasons. And also, Maharaj, like, even I just landed today from a conference in Chicago, and I'm just walking home, and I just realized in the conference, Maharaj, like a couple of my colleagues who were so drunk, like you said, Maharaj, it was like they couldn't even hold themselves up. I had to actually help them, take them to their rooms, drop them at their room, and then go to my room. It was so bad. It was so bad, Maharaj.
Yeah, it's a bad scenario.
The population of Africa is going up, and Africa has got wars. So to say that everybody is stressed out in India and America and all, it's really an overstatement, don't you think? I mean, people have children during war. So maybe, we are so sure of children's future and children living that we don't have more children. Whereas in war-torn countries, they have to have more children to make sure some survive.
Yes. These are all interesting studies and observations for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, good topics. And, it brings us to the point where we do have to be concerned about our world. And self-centeredness is really the biggest problem right now. Mode of ignorance and passion are on the rise. That you're talking about what is on the decrease and what's on the rise. It's that kind of mentality. Mode of ignorance is way up there, passion up there. Goodness is down. It's not a big concern for people, priority. Yeah, was. So anyways, I want to thank you. I'm going to bow out now. I am promised some people I'd go for a walk, and I have to do it anyways because I'm dealing with jet lag like you can't believe. All right. We'll try to make it next week. I think it should be okay.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to your holiness.
Take care.
Bol, Hari Bol.
Person to be able to put these on them.
Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Go and get some prasad. Okay?